Hey guys, how you going? It's Georgie again from Australian Colour Technologies. Just here today to tell you about our two pigment additives. We have Skin Top Calming Liquid and we have Easy Flow. So the difference between the two is basically your Easy Flow. This is a witch hazel base but diluted solution. It's much thinner and it can be used as a pigment thinner, pigment diluter, but also something that helps the pigment activate and flow into the skin much easier. So if we don't want to dilute the pigment, basically what we do is we only put 1 to 2 drops in it just to change the consistency. The pigments that we use with Coloressense are very, very highly pigmented. So just using a couple of drops of this actually won't dilute the product. It will just make it slightly thinner, the viscosity, so that it actually implants quicker into the skin. If you use it using, say, 3 to 4 drops, then you will be diluting the pigment. And the reason why we would dilute the pigment is especially if we're doing brows on, say, a mature age client who doesn't want something too saturated, who wants a very soft effect, and we may not be doing hair strokes or anything like that on them. So if we want a nice powdery ombre, then we might dilute your pigment. So we would use this to dilute your pigment, but we'd also use it to activate and change the viscosity of the pigment so that it flows easier into the skin. We tend to use this more on eyebrows than anything, but some people like to use it for their lip pigments. We wouldn't use it on eyeliner pigments because there is alcohol in it, and obviously we don't want to put that alcohol near the eyes. Then we have our calming liquid or Skin Top. This is pure witch hazel extract. The difference between a distilled witch hazel and witch hazel extract basically means that this is watered down or it's diluted. And it's actually from the leaf, whereas this one is from the whole plant. So when you've got something that's from the whole plant, it makes it a lot more nourishing, it makes it a lot more calming on the skin. And this product is a lot more silkier. So when we add it to a pigment, it's actually making the pigment silkier, as if we were adding something like glycerin. But what this does is it also keeps the skin calm and takes down any inflammation. So in fact, if you're doing lip tattoo and you find that your client's bleeding a lot, just a drop or two of this into the pigment will actually help stop the bleeding because it will help constrict the blood vessels due to its astringent properties. It also keeps it silkier, so it's nice to put that in a lip pigment to keep the lip pigment nice and silky as you're working. And again, you can dilute with this, but I probably wouldn't because especially if I'm putting it on lip pigment, I don't really like to dilute my lip pigment. Some people do, and that's fine, but I'd probably use the Easy Flow to do that. Again, I wouldn't use this in eyeliners. I don't use any sort of additives when I'm doing eyeliner tattoo, or even when I'm doing microblading. I don't like to use any additives. If you're doing nano, I would definitely add a couple drops of the Easy Flow for nano hair strokes, but for microblading, I wouldn't. So there you go. Easy Flow, we use it for eyebrows. We can use it for lips to dilute or make a runnier pigment, and we can also use it for nano to help implant the pigment better. But the Skin Top, we're going to use that in lips to help bring down any bleeding or any extra inflammation. You can also use it in eyebrows, but again, I wouldn't use these in my eyeliner pigments. So I hope that helps.